Hey guys, today you should be on lesson 6. The goal for today is you're going to be able to use an area model and a number line to represent mixed numbers. You're going to use the units ones, tenths, and hundredths. So an example of a decimal that has the units ones, tens, tenths, and hundredths would be, for example, 1.85. It has 1 because this is the ones place. It has 8 tenths because this is the tenths place. And 5 hundredths because this is the hundredths place. We use ones, tenths, and hundredths. So I'm going to do an example for you guys of what it would be like to model a decimal in an area model. So an example would be, whoops, not that page. On this page. So this should look just like the lesson slides that I do in class. So here I have 1 and 22 hundredths, or 1.22. 1 and 22 hundredths, or 2 tenths and 2 hundredths. So the way we would shade that in is first shade in one whole one. The ones would be the entire area model. It's one whole. So the first thing I would do is shade in one whole. I'm shading in the whole thing because that's my 1. I'm sure you guys are better at shading than me because I'm only using one hand. Okay, now I want to do the 22 hundredths. Each one of these little guys here, of these little units here, are hundredths. So I want to shade in 22 of them. Now, I could count out 22, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 22. But an easier way to think about it is I know that one column is 10 hundredths. So that's 10 hundredths. Another column would make 20 hundredths. So there I have 20 hundredths shaded, but I want 22, so I shade in 2 more. Okay, now let's take a look at the number line. So on the number line, the first thing I want to do is label the 2 whole numbers that my decimal point is in between. So I know that 1 and 22 hundredths is in between 1 and 2. And then see how I decompose the number line into tenths. So 1 and 1 tenth, 1 and 2 tenths, 1 and 3 tenths, 1 and 4 tenths, 1 and 5 tenths, 1 and 6 tenths, 1 and 7 tenths, 1 and 8 tenths, 1 and 9 tenths, and 2 wholes. Now, 1 and 22 hundredths. Well, I know that 1 and 2 tenths is equivalent to 1 and 20 hundredths. These two are equivalent. I can tell because I stack them under each other on the number line. And then I'm going to estimate about where 1 and 22 hundredths is. So it's about right here. It's not going to be exact because it would just be too much to decompose each space into 10. So I'm going to estimate the hundredths. Now, this is an example of what you guys are going to be doing in your problem set. So here in your problem set, you're writing each one as a decimal and then you're shading it. Now, these aren't decomposed into hundredths for you. You may have to do some of the decomposing by yourself by drawing horizontal lines. So for example, on the first one, it's a little blurry. Let's see, 1 and 15 hundredths. I'm going to give you this one as an example. It's 1 and 15 hundredths. So the first thing is I'm going to shade in my whole one because that's one of them, one whole. I'm going to try and stay inside the lines, but it's not going well for me. Okay, now I need to do 15 hundredths, but my area model is only decomposed into tenths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decompose it into hundredths by drawing horizontal lines. So I want 10 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the last one is 10. So now that I have it decomposed, I can shade in my 15 hundredths. One column here is 10. Oops, sorry. and then 5 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that'll get me 15. I'm going to let you guys figure out the number line. Use my example from earlier in the video.